Hello guys, welcome to another one of my Soda Junkie videos here with some background music from no copyright sounds. This here is my second video about trying to find a good farm method for the essence. Just pretty much moving a bit forward, adding to the video I shared a bit earlier, or perhaps it was yesterday. Going area of effect style, trying out really to go with increased magic damage with the conjurers here to see if I can area of effect my way through the dungeon. Things are going super smooth in the first 100 levels here, just kind of scoop to the end. Easy peasy farm. Again, not like the ninja most effective thing in the world, but I thought it was worth trying, especially because I wanted to have a larger level farming area to base my my numbers on. So because of that, I decided to go 100 levels instead of just the 30 that I did before, to see how much things really changed when you added in more battles and more minions to the equation. And things are looking pretty decently, actually. To be honest, I do think so. Let's check it out here. Just like that, 3.55 per mob, 7.5 per fight. So not really that much of a difference, meaning that, yeah, 100 levels, I mean, it's like in the same area. Decided to go again another round just to see. When I compared the 230 battles, it was exactly the same, so I figured, okay, let's do 200 battles and see if it's a completely static value that we get essence wise when we are going with a 250%, because that would be really nice to know, I feel, if things were like exactly the same, but they're not this time around. Different amount of enemies, different amount of essence, meaning that there is some degree of change in it. So I figured, okay, let's just go crazy pants, made the same team, aimed at spell damage, or magic damage I guess it is. Have conjurers, have dark mages, and just going area crazy pants. Using the dark mages in my immortal team right now, going completely silly pants crazy with it. Almost at level 2000, but I haven't seen any new items since level 1000, so that's a bit of a bummer. Decided just to see how far these can go, and what really kills this team is the autopilot, because I deal less damage when I'm hitting with my wand than when I'm using the spell, and I have unlimited mana because of the pet, so I do end up getting way too damaged, and the journey for this group here really comes to an end here, because instead of confusing and poisoning the opponent, we go melee style, and that really just ends it. Managed to get to level 200, tried to go manual in and take Alexandra out, but it doesn't help me. So what I notice is that I'm getting a decent amount of essence here, getting 3.52 per mob, 7.8 per fight, still going with the 250%. So I figured, okay, let's scoop it up, let's try level 301 to see if we get an increasing amount of essence when we add to the levels, or if it is static or within the same range throughout like the entire dungeon system. So once again, like same kind of setup, just going dark mages here and trying to go area on my own, just, you know, pop the spell, go nuts, because it's a bit silly when you deal more damage with the spell than with the wound, and the AI decides to go, I mean, even with just one mob, it's actually better for me to go area, because the pet just refills my mana. It's completely silly, but yeah, it is what it is. So just manually going the first 10 levels here. I'm gonna be doing 30, so that the information about these 30 levels in the 300 area can be compared to the 30 levels at level 1, just so there is some kind of foundation, and this is all in dimension 3, also worth having in mind. And it's just geeky stuff, guys. This is just because I like doing this. Sorry, but I do. I like doing this stuff, so that is why I'm doing it. Just going crazy pants on it and just seeing if I can find out like the ideal positions for different things. Even though I'm gonna be scooping to Dimension 4 probably tomorrow, I still want to know. That's just because then I will want to know how can I scale it, how does it change when the dimensions increase, all that kind of stuff. I'm just a sucker for statistics like that. So 10 levels done here on manual, jumping into the future, just doing the 30 levels. So this is the last one here, so that I have the first 30 levels in the 300 range and the first 30 levels in the absolute start of the dungeon, to compare the essence income with when you're going 250%. That is 2 essence tokens for 5 characters. So go away like that. So goody. Let's see. 4.19 per mob and 9.2 per fight, which means that we get more essence the higher we progress. Made a new team with dark mages here, going a bit more serious with real weapons, so that if I encounter, as you can see, we have hit point regeneration. Instead of bringing in a healer, we have the Dronin that puts the dudes to sleep. So if we're going to be facing 2 or 1 mob, the autopilot is going to be going melee, meaning that we can put them to sleep. And the dragon shield makes us immune to status effects, which is pretty cool, meaning that when we walk into a trap, or if they try to put us to sleep, it's not going to happen. So that is like the base setup, the thought behind this, still going with the 250%. And what I'm doing is that I'm scooping to level 600 this time. So we've been checking out level 1, level 301, and now it's 601. Just trailblazing through it, trying to, like, I'm putting it on autopilot because now I have the weapons. As you can see, it's going sleep, burn. We're actually dealing more damage melee now, at least some of the times, than we are when we're using the spell. So that's a pretty good change. Instead of us doing junk when we're not using the spell, we're doing at least as good, plus we are either burning or putting things to sleep. And with 5 going melee, there's a very high chance that at least the one main mob is gonna be put to sleep, meaning that only one can attack us. And if it does, we're gonna regen our 30 health. So it's like it's not immortal style, because at some point we're going to progress to a point where this amount of damage and this amount of healing isn't good enough. But in terms of grinding the essence in this level, it is pretty efficient. Going like crazy pants with, with the clouds there, and even though we're dealing less damage, I mean 5 times 77, that's what we're dealing, plus we're poisoning, plus we're confusing, meaning that they're not going to be able to hit us, they're going to take additional damage, and our pet is just feeding us new mana every single turn, so we don't need to worry about running out of mana. And every time we do this and they don't die, we regenerate 30 health. So it's a pretty good lockdown system. It's not perfect, but it's very good for farming essence in this area. If you want to have it like on autopilot style, and I do like having the option to make some kind of team, set the phone to do its thing, just, you know, like grind the essence for me, so that when I want to play more actively, I can go in and upgrade my stuff, and then I can crush it. And that is definitely something I feel is possible with this build here. They're just doing their thing. I mean, things are dying, they're not really taking that much damage, and when they are, they're healing up. Every once in a while we run into like a fountain, because if we see a trap, we're not gonna get hit because we're immune because of the dragon shield. So we cannot take burning damage, we cannot get drowsed, fall asleep, we can't get warped, we can't get ambushed. but if we do get ambushed, they only get one shot. And then we start healing up and we go in lockdown. Ambushed by a huge team. Okay, we use our abilities, our spells once again by the Dark Mage. Put them, like, confuse them, poison them, crowd control kind of thing. If we get ambushed by two, we go melee style and one falls asleep or dies. So it's pretty efficient. And just, you know, for testing, I did 30 levels just to see how is this compared to the 300 and the level 1 stuff, so that we have that kind of statistical information. And here we have it: 538 per mob, 11.8 per fight. Slowly scooping up the system without more effort. So you could argue it takes more time the harder things get, obviously, but the interesting thing is that this team, you can start it out at level 1, like if you have time and the phone is just doing its thing, and then you can say, okay, this can continue probably all the way up to level like 800 or something like that. So that was pretty much what I had to share in this short video here. Just another one of those I'm thinking too much about the game kind of things, but yeah, stats for the win. As always, guys, thank you very much for watching.